Is there any way we can increase the volume without filler?
She's asking for a friend.
Yeah, there are. This is actually huge at the moment. And skin is actually the largest organ in our body, and it needs to be looked after just like everything else.
AI is huge. Where are you seeing skin health and what you do, and also incorporating AI in that?
We've got really cool tech that allows us to look beneath the skin surface, look at UV damage, look at pigmentation, look at where your fine lines are really turning up. And so that's all to do with imaging and AI.
I read somewhere that millennials are undergoing cosmetic procedures at a faster rate than any other generation. Why do you think that is?
That generation has access to social media that aren't even real. The real danger is unrealistic expectations. SPF is huge, good skincare, and then collagen stimulating treatments. When we hit 40, it just drops off a cliff. So what we should really be aiming for is enhancing your own natural features and not trying to fit into a mold or an ideal that you might see online or in the media.
Feeling confident in your skin is so much more than what you see in the mirror.
And how can you feel good? Well, that starts from within.
Welcome to the In Your Skin podcast. I'm Christy.
And I'm Anna. Join us each week as we sit down with world-leading experts and thought leaders to delve into the latest insights, groundbreaking research, and cutting-edge advancements in wellness, longevity, and beauty.
Dr. Amy, thank you for
Hi.
joining us.
It's my absolute pleasure, guys.
Now, you are a Porsche enthusiast,
I am.
a cosmetic doctor.
Yes,
You have a lot of drive. You love to drive.
that I do.
What motivates you?
Yeah, great question. What motivates me? I think just overall, my mission in life is to just be a good human, to think about my legacy, think about what I'm leaving back, give something to the world that I can stand back and that my potential children one day can stand back and just be proud of. I'm somebody who I think I like to come into a situation and just make sure I'm leaving it a little bit better than it was before I was there.
And what would you say you're passionate about?
I think for me, I'm just trying to find a balance between a lot of what I've learned over the years to my patients and the public at work, and just finding that balance between looking after myself and wellness and just really living a fulfilling life.
And before we kind of go into skin health and all things skin, now I want to touch on your Porsche driving. Oh, sorry, I've got to correct myself. Porsche driving. I've heard you can get up to 250 kilometers an hour. Is that true?
That is true. And either way works. Porsche.
Okay.
The purists will say Porsche, but you're fine with Porsche.
Thank you. I've actually done one of those track days as well, and it was so thrilling. I loved it. I only did, I think it was the very beginner level, but I remember, and I was just like, I want to do this. I want to keep doing this. I don't think I'm allowed to drive my car like this, but I want to keep doing this on a track. Like, why do you do it?
I just love it. There's a few reasons. So I'm somebody I've always liked driving. I don't know why. I think when I was younger and I was a teenager, and if my parents hear this, they'll laugh. I used to take long drives just to de-stress. Yeah. And they'd be like, why are there so many kilometers on the car? I'm pretty sure I filled up the tank the other day. Like, yeah, sorry. My parents, they came to Canada when my mom was in high school and my dad was early 20s, and they just worked really, really hard to give us a really nice life. And I always knew that I, would have to work hard and achieve just almost for everything that they've sacrificed. And I always dreamed about having a 911. And so it was a big deal when I got one. And I said, I'm going to get the one that I can obviously take on the track. Yeah. So I have a GT3. I've had two now. And yeah, as soon as I could, I turned up to the racetrack. And I think I just like, shattering perceptions as well. So the best story is the first time I ever rolled up in my first GT3, somebody asked me, are you delivering a car for someone? As in,
rude.
Are you dropping this off? And I go, no, I'm going to drive. And he goes, oh, that's great. It will make you a better driver on the road. More women should do this.
Goodness.
You just dig that hole deeper, buddy.
And you're like, get me in that car. I want to go fast.
Yeah, I want to go fast. But yeah, that was the start of it all. And I've been involved in that world for about 4 years now. and I'll give the guys a run for their money, and it's good fun. I love it. Every time I'm on the track, there's somebody who doesn't expect me to be driving, and they definitely don't expect me to be faster than them. So that's always it's always the best.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
And what about your career? What really inspired you to get into cosmetic medicine?
So I, again, born in Canada, did a couple of degrees over there. So an undergrad in science, and then came out to Australia for medical school. I'm an adventurous person, and I thought, yeah, cool, that sounds great. I'll just go to a country I've never been before, leave my family and friends. Ended up doing the 4 years, and then wanted to do surgery. So did a lot of surgical training here. So for about 7 years, I moved around quite a bit. Started out with general surgery and plastic surgery, and then did a lot of cardiothoracic surgery, actually. So a lot of heart and lung surgery. And then eventually I was out here on my own with no family, no support, working 17-hour days. It's a whole nother conversation what that world and dealing with some of the dynamics there is like. And I had a really good friend. I still have a really good friend in Brisbane who was in the cosmetic industry. And he said to me, you should come check this out. I have a feeling it's perfect for you. And I never really looked back. I loved it. I was like, I see an opportunity of taking that duty of care that we have in the hospital world and in, normalized medical fields and bringing it to this space. And that's really what drove me to open my own practice, especially when I saw how other people were doing things. And what really just drives me to keep doing what I'm doing.
Love that.
And if it wasn't for that moment, do you think you would have headed home back to Canada?
Medicine's tricky. So it's not as fluid around the world as you would think. So I would have had to do some more training to go back. And I think I'm 40 now. I've been working hard for 20 years, you get over it. And I love it here.
Yeah.
I can't complain too much. And if I can see my family a few times a year, I'm making it work.
So now getting into some skin health topics and cosmetic medicine, really wanting to understand what is happening in the industry. I read somewhere that millennials are undergoing cosmetic procedures at a faster rate than any other generation. Why do you think that is?
I think there's a lot of good reasons for that. So more than ever, obviously, that generation has access to social media and social media trends and filters, and we're seeing a lot of things that aren't reality, that are putting a lot of pressure on people to be fitting into molds and ideals that aren't even real, right? And then add to that the fact that technology is progressing and we have, more advanced laser treatments. We have treatments that are minimally invasive with less downtime than ever before, and also more accessibility to all of these treatments. If you think about all of that, why wouldn't that cohort be looking at these things more frequently?
There's like this pressure for perfection. And what are you seeing? Like, how do you balance that with the clients you're seeing and what they come in and ask for and what they should have? And
I think more so than a pressure for perfection, the real danger is unrealistic expectations, right? So what we should really be aiming for is enhancing your own natural features and not trying to fit into a mold or an ideal that you might see online or in the media. So as long as you can sit down with a practitioner who can educate you, manage those expectations, and you guys can get on the same page and your philosophies resonate, then you're probably headed in the right direction.
And what I love about you, as what I've read about you, is that if someone comes into you, they can leave not getting anything because it might not be right. Why is that? Why do you think that's really important?
Yeah, again, I think when somebody comes to you with their problem or presenting complaint, as we would say in medicine, it's important to really truly understand why. What is their why? Why are they here? And also present them with all of their options and provide them with education on all of those options. And sometimes the best treatment is no treatment, right? Yeah. And that's one of the options. So it's really important to educate and let people take the time to digest.
Yeah. What are some of the common asks or concerns that what people are coming in for?
I think we've had a quick chat about this before the podcast, but I seem to attract a really lovely cohort of people who are just looking to rejuvenate, age well, look their best. So the concerns around there are usually, dullness, fine lines, Pigmentation is huge in Australia. The sun here is brutal, guys.
I don't like my pigment.
Yeah, obviously I grew up in Canada, so I think that's protected me a little bit. But even the freckles on my face and the pigmentation, that is all from being here in this under the sun here. So you guys really need to keep up the SPF and sun protection.
Yeah. And do you think there is an age that is too young to come and see you?
Absolutely. It depends what you're looking for as well. So when it comes to more invasive cosmetic treatments, early 20s, under 20, I pretty much won't even see you unless there's a very, very good indication or a good reason. Other than that, I do see some people in their 20s, and the conversation there is usually around prevention and protection. So good skincare, SPF, maybe some light skin treatments in the clinic. How can we prevent, protect, and preserve your future self?
Yeah. What are you seeing as, like in terms of treatments for that generation? What would you recommend?
For the people in their 20s? Yeah, again, a really good consultation around good SPF, sun protection, good skincare. So, quality skincare. Does your routine have a potent vitamin C? We can start talking about things like retinols. Have you guys heard about all the teenagers that are
and they're
going
obsessed.
to Mecca and buying all this skincare?
Yes. So when is it too much to do all this skincare?
That's too early.
Yeah,
so
okay.
the problem there is ruining your skin barrier, right? And that's something we all need to think about as well. Sometimes you're doing too much and your skin barrier will become irritated, and then we have to work on fixing that. And you've actually gone backwards.
And how do you navigate that? Because people do want to go to places like Mecca and they want to buy their favorite skincare, but they're not probably understanding the ingredients and what's in them. So what's some advice for those teens or the people that are in their early 20s wanting to go out and buy some skincare for them? What sort of advice would you give them?
I would say that stuff's not cheap either, right? I would say really do your research, take that money, find a practitioner that resonates with you, have a really good consultation, and just listen. Find somebody that you trust and stick with them.
Yeah.
Bouncing around, using different products is overdoing it. And that's, again, when you're going to run into problems, right?
Yeah. I think, like you said, it is really about understanding what you're putting on your face, what you're putting in your body, and doing the research. It's really, really important.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. What about a holistic approach to skincare? What are you doing for your skin? Because you're glowing.
Thanks. Yeah, look, what does holistic mean? It means looking at the whole person, right? So what are your sleep habits like? Are you eating well? How are you managing stress? All of that. The skin is actually the largest organ in our body, and it needs to be looked after just like everything else. So all of these things actually work together. SPF is huge, good skincare, and then collagen stimulating treatments, right? As we age, I think everyone's starting to understand this. We lose collagen, we lose elastin. When we hit 40, it just drops off a cliff, okay? And then let's throw menopause into that for women. It's a whole nother ball game. So what you want to do is look at skincare and treatments that are preserving and building up that collagen. So I think of it as a bank account. So you have a certain amount, it's leaving, you can't do anything about it. And if you have more of it, if you can build more of it up, you're better off, right?
And what age is it starting to decline, and at what rate?
It slowly starts to decline in your mid-20s, and then around 40 is when you'll really start to notice it. I have patients come to me all the time and say, they'll be in their mid-40s and they'll say, I was feeling great, and then I don't know what happened the last few months. Everything's just dropped, and I'm like, you're not alone, and that's normal. You're probably, perimenopausal, your hormones are changing. It's all hitting you at once. And this is a great time to jump onto a plan.
But the good thing is there is hope. There's hope.
There is hope. There is hope. And it's just about feeling good in your own skin, right? Aging well, not looking frozen or overdone.
And I think, that holistic approach to skincare, the sleep, the exercise, drinking enough water and hydration, all of those kind of things, stressing less is probably the biggest. I continue
Easier
to
said than done, right?
Easier said than done, but it is very important, especially as we are coming into our late 30s, 40s and beyond.
Eating well, sleeping well affects your skin. That we know. So, it's a no-brainer.
I love how you do take the holistic approach, and also because you do have to speak to someone individually, because everyone is different, their needs are different, their skin is different. So it's really important, I think, to come and speak to someone, not about other people's concerns, but the concerns you have. So do you have people wanting to come and try new trends and new things that you just think, what are you on about? Like this is not for you?
Yeah, absolutely. All the time. And if you guys see me on social media, I say it all the time. Trends are for fashion. They're not for your face.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's really important to work with your skin, your goals, your lifestyle. And just, again, we're doing things long term. Everything good takes time, right?
Yeah.
And please leave the trends alone.
Is there a way that you can look after your skin without cosmetic intervention? And I know we kind of touched on this sleep, health, all of that kind of things. But like, what are you personally doing to help, preserve?
There's so many things we can do. You don't have to. If you're not ready, or if it's not, in your financial plans for the year, you don't have to spend a lot of money on cosmetic treatments. Wear a good SPF. So good 50 plus SPF in Australia is what I recommend. The TGA here has some of the strictest guidelines in the world to actually even label something a sunscreen. It can be from a pharmacy. If it's a 50 plus Australian sunscreen, you're well protected. Find skincare, a few key skincare ingredients that work for you. Again, if you do a little bit of research and you like something from the chemist, go for it. Drink lots and lots of water. Personally, there's times I've really been terrible at that. I'm doing it well now. And my staff actually, for my birthday last year, bought me a Stanley cup.
Oh, yeah.
And they fill it up for me every morning and put it on my desk. It's the cutest thing. But I feel so much better being well hydrated. Have you guys?
Yeah, I think that's a really great habit, because I don't have the Stanley water bottle, but I have another one, and I think I'm always conscious of what I'm drinking. I can see how much I've drunk, and I think it's really important. I'm like trying to get through 2 of those bottles a day, and also to see it. So I think it is really important. That's a really good habit to change for people that aren't drinking as much water. It's like, okay, get yourself a water bottle and make sure you drink it.
Because you can see the visible effects, right? Once
you can feel it.
Yeah, and you feel it and you can see it in your skin.
This podcast wouldn't be possible without the support of our sponsor, Whoop.
Hey, Anna, what was your sleep score last night?
Well, wouldn't you like to know? No, it was 87%. What did you get?
100%.
Of course.
Whoop has me dialed in.
Okay, tell me a secret.
Well, I've been going to bed really consistently, and I've been taking my Into Magnesium supplement, of course. Plus, Whoop tracks my sleep performance, how much sleep I got versus what I actually needed. It even breaks down into 4 stages: awake, light, REM, and deep sleep.
Well, that's what I love about it. Whoop auto detects my sleep and it helps me stay consistent. Plus, the sleep coach gives me a personalized bedtime so I wake up feeling refreshed.
Exactly. Sleep is the foundation to everything. Recovery, performance, and even how I feel during the day. Whoop helps me optimize it.
Well, want better sleep? Well, head to whoop.com and get a free month when you sign up. If you want to try it yourself, sign up at joinwhoop.com/inyourskin and get your first month free. So hydration is clearly important for your skin. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, so what does water actually do? Water actually acts as a transport system for minerals to our skin. So if you think about it, if it's not there, then your skin's not getting all the nourishment that it needs, right? If that's speaking, at a very high level about this stuff, but it should make sense.
And how much do you think you should be drinking a day?
At least 2 liters. It's a lot, I know. But that's again, that holistic approach, right? So if you're a busy person, you're looking after the kids, you're going to work, maybe you're doing a little bit of training, especially in summer, I'd be aiming for about 2 liters.
I try and do that. It doesn't happen all the time, but I think once you change that habit and you do start doing it, it does make things easier.
It just has some knock-on effects if you're not hydrated. I know even for my sleep and how I feel, but definitely in the skin, Yeah.
So when do you think we should be taking preventative measures for our skin? At what age, or when should we start?
Yeah, I think your 20s are a great place to start, right? That's when you should start looking into good skincare, diligently wearing your SPF, but you should be doing that always. It's a good time to start looking into these things.
Yeah.
I mean, you touched on retinol products or ingredients before. Can you tell us a little bit about it? What do they do? How do they benefit the skin?
Yeah, so retinol is one of the most studied skincare ingredients in terms of the scientific literature. And we know that it increases cell turnover. And what that means for us basically is we're bringing healthier skin cells with more collagen up to the surface. And so it's a really great tool when it comes to anti-aging. It's a tool that's used in acne. We use it in pigmentation. It's really an all-rounder.
And when would be the best time to start using retinols?
I would consider that at a low concentration, probably mid-20s, especially in Australia. I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Is there any other ingredients that you love or that excite you? Is there anything new coming out? Or
Yeah. I love vitamin C.
Yeah.
You may have heard me talk about that before.
That's one of my
Why do you love it?
Why do I love it? Yeah, it does beautiful things for your skin. So it's a brightener. It protects against UV damage. It helps with fine lines. It also stimulates collagen, and it's just a simple ingredient to have in your skincare routine. You want a topical formulation. You want it to be at a specific pH to actually be active in your skin and at a specific concentration. So this is the thing with skincare and ingredients, right? You can see something that says it has vitamin C, but how is it formulated? How is it delivering to your skin? Is it actually in a form that's going to be active and do what it's meant to do? And that's why sometimes you see price differences in skincare, right? There's a lot of people that are like, why am I spending this much on my vitamin C when I see it for $10 at the chemist? And that's probably part of the reason why.
Now, AI is huge. What are you seeing? And also you've got various imaging tools. Where are you seeing, I guess, skin health and what you do going and also incorporating AI in that?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that now. We've got really cool tech that allows us to look beneath the skin surface, look at UV damage, look at pigmentation, look at where your fine lines are really turning up. Yeah. And so that's all to do with imaging and AI. Yeah. Personally, in my clinic, we have a really cool 3D camera that shows you everything. And we've just introduced it late last year, and it's such a cool tool to have. So you really can't hide anymore either, right?
When you say everything, what is it showing you?
It's showing you contour changes, volume loss, pigmentation, fine lines, vascularity, so rosacea, redness, all of that in a 3D model, and it's your face.
Wow. Can we actually talk about rosacea? Because I feel like that's something I've probably struggled with.
Recently myself.
Yeah, and Christy as well.
Just probably a few months ago started getting rosacea. I was like, what?
And it's also something that I feel like a lot more people are getting. It's like people are coming up to me, friends, oh, my mum has that. Do you know how to deal with it? I'm like, I don't have it under control, but I also heard that it's something that you can never get rid of. What we can do if you are someone who suffers from rosacea.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that we need to manage. Is there a silver bullet cure? Not quite. We can definitely get on top of it, subdue it, manage it. So there's a few things with rosacea. People have different triggers and there's different reasons why they have it. So it might be genetic, it might be environmental, it might even be lifestyle. Rosacea is a vascular condition. So what's happening is those end capillaries are basically acting up. Heat and warmth probably affects things. I mean, that's almost obvious, that flushing that people get. Barrier protection is really important with your skincare. So I see some people who have new rosacea because they've been using too many products or changing their products around too much.
That could be you, Christy.
Well, I don't think it was changing my product. I think it was like a stress. Very emotional stress was going on at the time, and then it just went. But then now it's gone. I'm like, woohoo.
There you go. So your trigger was stress. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you do have rosacea, like you said, you've just got to manage it. So does that mean someone like me, someone like Christy, will always have rosacea, and it's just how we manage that rosacea?
Pretty much. It can be well controlled and potentially not cause problems. But again, identifying the trigger, there's some skincare that can help calm things down, and then there's lasers that can help as well.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, cool. And, is there any trends in the cosmetic industry that you're seeing that are coming out with treatments that excites you?
Yeah, I just love that we're taking it back to skin health-based treatments. We're just focusing on that holistic picture, and we're not seeing as much of the overfilled, overdone look that we were seeing, 5-10 years ago.
And why do you think that is?
I think people are just over it, right?
Yeah.
They just want to look like the best version of themselves, which is, in my humble opinion, what we should all be aiming for.
Is there any way we can increase the volume without filler?
She's asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, there are, and this is actually huge at the moment. And what I see myself doing a lot of with my patients this year is just collagen stimulation, right? Again, technology's great right now. We've got cool new energy-based devices and lasers and treatments that will actually stimulate collagen and give you that volume in a subtle way.
Yeah. I mean, with your practice, you are thinking about the customer, their goals, really what they're trying to achieve in a holistic way. But I don't think all practitioners would be thinking that way. What are some red flags, and what should people be asking for when they're going to seek a practitioner who is doing some of these treatments to ensure that they come out with the results that they're looking for?
Yeah. So I think a huge red flag is when you're not actually being sat down for a proper consultation, okay? And that's not just oh, hey, what's bothering you? Okay, yeah, cool. I'm going to do this, this, and this. Somebody who's truly understanding your medical history, what your lifestyle is like, what your goals are, and taking the time to present a plan, right? So if you're not getting a consultation, you're just getting put in a treatment chair, get out of there. Huge red flag. The other red flag I would look out for is somebody who just says yes to everything, okay? At the end of the day, there's a therapeutic relationship. It's a doctor-patient relationship. And when do you go to your doctor and say, I want you to do this, this, and this, right?
Yeah.
It's not how it works. Unfortunately, for some of my patients, it's important that you have somebody who can say no.
Yeah. And what are some common myths about cosmetic treatments?
So I think, again, there was the era of the overdone look, and a lot of people think that if you get anything done, that's how you're going to look. And I will say that I get a few things done, and
we won't ask what.
Right. If you think I look done or overfilled, let me know. I'll fix it. But it's not necessarily the case. Treatments just need to be done well. They need to be well thought out.
Yeah.
There needs to be a plan, and it needs to be with somebody who can consider all of the layers of your face and all of the factors that are contributing to aging and why your facial harmony or contours are changing.
Yeah. Well, you look very glowing and actually I said before, I was like, you're 40. I thought you were 30.
I'll take it.
It's
I'll take
what we're all aiming for, I think.
My joke is I look 25.
Yes. Honestly,
it's not a joke.
It is actually not a joke. You actually do.
So we may have touched on this, but what are people doing wrong when it comes to their skin?
Yeah. So I think it's just seeing trending products, seeing their favorite influencers talking about a product, grabbing it, mixing and changing, not having consistency with their skincare, right? So your skin is like anything else. It loves consistency. Find what works for you and stick with it. Find a practitioner that you trust and listen to them, right?
Do you think getting second opinions is important though? Because I feel like, I guess if they do go to a cosmetic doctor and they're saying one thing and then you're like, oh, like maybe I should go listen to someone else because they might not be giving the right advice and they might want to take that more holistic approach that you take. So would it be reasonable to say maybe get a second opinion on things like skin?
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In fact, I personally will not treat my patients unless they're 100% certain that they would like to do what we're doing or what the plan is. So if it makes you feel better to go talk to somebody else and you weigh up your options, then I think that's the right thing to do.
Or what's your daily skin routine?
Yeah, all right. Oh, we're letting you in on the secret.
Tell us all of it.
Do you know what? I actually only cleanse once at night.
Why is that?
Well, I also, if I train, etc., obviously I have a shower and all of that. But when it comes so I think some people wake up in the morning and think they need to cleanse first thing in the morning. And for me, I don't have oily skin. And I think in terms of just skin health and barrier protection, that one cleanse is great. So I don't know if that shocks certain people. You don't need to double cleanse. And then for me, a vitamin C is really, really important. I use a growth factor serum as well.
What's a growth factor serum?
Yeah.
I don't use that. What is it? I'll add it to the list.
So growth factor
Chrissy's writing
serum,
notes right now.
Yeah, again, it's so growth factors are signals to your cells basically to do good things. So produce collagen and elastin and all of that happy stuff.
Okay.
Is that how you promote collagen? Is that what you think is the best way to promote collagen?
So everything that I use promotes collagen.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, it's just another tool.
Okay.
And so that for me, in the summer especially, acts like my moisturizer and my barrier protection. And then I put a really great SPF on top. And I'm reapplying that every 2 to 4 hours. Wink, wink. That's something that I personally slip up on.
Yeah.
A bit of a hint. So your first SPF, your first line of protection, make sure it's a really great solid one. And then if you have a spray through the day, that's a nice way to top up, right? Especially because we put makeup on and we don't really want to apply our full sunscreen on top. That's the only time I give a thumbs up to spray sunscreens is to reapply. Don't use it as your primary sunscreen.
What about seasonal skincare? Should we be changing our skincare throughout the year?
Potentially, yeah. So in winter, my skin's a lot drier. I like to use a cream rich in fatty acids and ceramides to help keep the moisture in. I might throw in a bit of hyaluronic acid as well. Whereas in summer, especially when we're outside and we're active, I don't need to do that as much. And the hydration comes more from water.
Yeah.
And can you talk us through hyaluronic acid and why you think it's important, if you do think it's important?
I don't think it's a key ingredient, to be honest with you. Okay. So we actually have a lot of it naturally in our skin. If you overuse it, it will actually dehydrate you. So it will actually draw out your natural hyaluronic acid. But if you're somebody who's dry and you like the idea of it and you do like the glow that it gives you, it's absolutely fine. What people don't understand with hyaluronic acid serum sometimes is you do actually then need to seal that in with a moisturizer as well.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not a moisturizer in and of itself.
Now, if people listening to this, they wanted to take away some key points and something they could probably start doing today, what would that be?
I think it would be just stick with the basics. So your sunscreen, your skincare, sun protection, hydration. If you can manage your sleep, that's awesome. I think you guys talk a lot about sleep on this podcast, don't you?
Yes.
How important it is, yes.
I'm going to have a listen to that.
Yeah. Beauty sleep. We need our beauty sleep.
Find consistency, okay? Find something that you like, that works, and stick with it. And when it comes to the more advanced treatments, find a practitioner that you trust and stick with them.
And also do your research. I think it's really, really important.
Yeah, do your research, for sure.
And what does it mean for you to feel great in your skin?
I think feeling great in your skin is just being confident, right? Not going after social media trends. If you can be makeup free and feel good, then personally, me as a cosmetic doctor, I've done my job, right? Yeah, I think that's the ultimate goal. And it's a privilege to age, isn't it? It really is. So just do it well.
Yeah, I think we've now sort of lost the term anti-aging, and like you said, it's more about the healthy aging, which I think is really important to also change your mindset around those things. So let's do it well. And Is there anything else you want to add about anything?
What do you got for me?
Is there any topics you want to cover?
I think we've got a little bit of time that we can maybe. Anything else you want to?
We touched on the racing. That was pretty good.
Covered a bit.
I mean, I do like some minimally invasive facelift stuff.
Yeah. What age should we be getting a facelift? Asking for a friend again.
You don't.
Dr. Amy, thank you so much for joining us and
absolute pleasure.
Sharing all your insights on skin health and the cosmetic industry. Where can we find you on socials, your work? Yeah.
Yeah, so my main clinic where you'll find me is in Surrey Hills. We have a beautiful 3-level terrace. I helped plan and design it. And I've also got a brand new advanced skin health concept opening in Rosebery this year at the Engine Yards. And that's
exciting.
super exciting. And again, that's just me focusing on skin health, which I think is the future, right? And just helping people age well. And then I've also got a book coming out later this year with HarperCollins, but it might actually be later than I thought. So we're going to hold on that for now.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can find me at Dr. A Chahal on Instagram, and TCMA Sydney is our clinic Instagram.
Amazing. Well, we'll leave all of that info in the show notes, but thank you again.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. It was such a pleasure. I had fun.